Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IS Academy. So here we continue our NCERT series. Now we are on to the 8th chapter, that is from Indian economy. As you know, the NCERTs are now generic for 6th, 7th, 8th is what we have seen. So this is 7th standard, second part of the NCERT, the 8th chapter of which we will cover in today's class, which is related to Indian economy. The chapter is Banks and the Magic of Finance. So we will be looking at banks, what are their roles and what magic does the finance work, or basically talking about the importance of finance, so on and so forth. So let's get started with this chapter. Now, as always, the NCERT is beginning with a quote. Now, this quote is by the economist Joseph Schumpeter, right? So what does he say? He says that the banker is not only a middleman. See, the banks are generally considered as intermediaries, so the bankers will be the intermediaries in themselves. That is what a broker, or you can say a middleman. But Joseph Schumpeter is saying that the banker is not only a middleman, he is the producer. Producer of what? Producer of a vital service, enabling the entrepreneurs to transform ideas into reality through what? Through the credit. What is credit? The money that is given to you, the money that you borrow, credit is given to you. That means loan is given to you. So some money is given to you, which you will of course have to pay it back, right? So through the credit, right? So that is what. So he is giving a lot of importance to the credit in the market. Now the three questions that this NCERT tries to answer, let us look at them. First is, what is financial infrastructure and what does it comprise of? Straightforward, factual. Second, what are the main functions performed by the banks and how do they impact the people's life? Third, how does financial infrastructure contribute to the nation's progress? So this is where the magic is going to work. So let's get started. Right, so they are first of all introducing us by helping us to recollect the things that have been taught to us in the previous chapters, right, wherein we looked at the infrastructure, we looked at roads, railways, telecommunications, right, and a lot of economic activities which are driven by money related transactions, wherein money is required. Now money from the shopkeepers paid to the workers' salaries, who further spend it on essential items, right? From barter to money chapter also we have done, they have given its reference also. So they are saying, how does these monetary transactions take place between people? Also, how is the development and maintenance of the vast physical infrastructure funded? Funded means, where is the money coming from? All right, now, so then they only answer it by saying that this is made possible for a financial infrastructure and by a network of banks, payment systems, stock markets, and other financial institutions that will help the people to do their business and to do any kind of transaction that they would want to do. Now, with respect to the financial institutions, wherein the stock markets, etc., are also there in our later on classes, that will also be done in this lecture, in this chapter. They have not discussed it much. They have just touched upon the stock market and the shares. That's it, right? Major focus of this chapter is the bank. So, what is a bank? See, a bank is nothing but a financial institution dealing with finances, that is money, right? So what does the bank do? See, basically certain people will have surplus of money, means huge amount of money, and certain people will have deficit of money, that means they will be needing money. Now how do you find these people, right? Let's say if I want to borrow money, then I will have to search for someone who has additional money. Now, when we walk across the streets, there will be a lot of people having surplus of money. Can I go and ask them directly? Absolutely not. They will not give the money to me. Why will they not give the money to me? They don't know me. How will they trust me? Right? So what? So the people with surplus money, they keep their surplus money with the bank. Bank becomes an intermediary. And then this bank uses their own money to give it to us. So when bank is taking the money from the people who have surplus and giving the money to people who need, how does the bank make profit? Because the people, when they're keeping the surplus with the bank, are paid lesser interest, and when the bank give loans to the people who don't have money, they charge higher interest. Then that is what helps the banks to make the profit. What is interest? The amount that is charged to you when you are given loan by the bank. More on this later. So it is clear what a bank is. A bank is a financial institution that will collect money from the people in the form of deposits, right? And it will lend money to the people in the form of loans. That is what the bank basically does. They have given a picture here of the bank, and they have asked you to discuss with your teachers, with your family members. So let us discuss together. What is this? See, this is a bank wherein this is basically the reception wherein you can go and simply ask for where, who are sitting where. So if you want to deposit money, where to go, so on and so forth. Then this looks like a more sort of a setup wherein the loan department is there. So here the loan counseling is happening. You can sit and get the loan. They are discussing transferring information and telling the customers. Here the customers are sitting waiting, so you can withdraw money from the bank, you can deposit money from the bank, you can go and pay the loan, you can withdraw the money as a loan, you can take the loan as well, all these things. Now because of the digital presence, now this is a less prevalent. Not many people go and withdraw money from the bank. ATMs are there, your online payment system is there, all that we will have a look. Now, what I have explained you just now about taking money from the people who have surplus and giving it to the people who have deficit, that is exactly what is mentioned over here. Right. So there is one Mr. Navdeep. Now Navdeep saves 3,000 rupees every month from his salary. Now, if he keeps it in his cupboard, it will accumulate and it will not be safe. It can be stolen, so on and so forth. Right. So he decides to deposit the money in the bank. Right. Now he decides to deposit the money with the bank. Now there is a person, Rima. Now Rima runs a business making bamboo products. She needs some money for running some business operations. So what does Seema do? Seema basically first asks the relatives and friends, but they are not able to provide the money that she needs. So then she goes to a bank to get the money, and the bank gives Rima the loan. Right. So whatever money she has or she's able to get from the friends and family, the remaining amount that she needs, she gets it from the bank, and the bank gives it to Rima at an interest rate. That means the additional rate which Rima will be charged. Why? Because she's been getting a loan. Right. Move ahead. Let's look at some more functions of the bank. What are banks and what do they do? So banks, they help monetary transaction, right? So banks help making monetary transactions easy. They offer services like savings, withdrawing, borrowing money, right? Now these services are used by wide range of people, for household, for businesses, for small firms, for anyone and everyone. Right. Now to use the services of the bank, one first needs to open a bank account in the bank, without which it will not be possible. Right. The person or business is then called a bank account holder. So that person or the business will be the bank account holder of that particular bank account. Now the function that the bank does is hold deposits. Deposits are what? There's nothing but the, as you can see over here, it is nothing but the money placed in a bank account, which can be withdrawn as per the terms of the bank. So if you have opened a demand deposit, you can demand money any point of time. Savings account is a demand deposit. Current account is a demand deposit. You can open a time deposit as well. Then you can withdraw money only at the maturity of the deposit. Fixed deposit is a type of time deposit. Okay. So demand deposits are two types, savings and current. What is the difference? Savings account earns you some interest rate on the money that you keep. Current account does not earn you any interest rate when you keep the money. Right? Whereas fixed deposit earns you interest rate, in fact higher interest rate than the savings deposit. Okay? Sure. Now, the banks basically not only keep the money safe for us, as I have told you, but also lend it. They use our money and lend it to the business persons, to the people. Now, in return, what happens is when the bank keeps our money with them, in return, the bank gives us some extra money over the period of time. Now, that extra money may come to us on a monthly basis, it may come to us on a quarterly basis, or it may come to us on a yearly basis. Quarterly means once every 3 months. Once every 3 months is what quarterly is, which they have mentioned over here. As you can see, quarterly, it means occurring 4 times in a year at the end of every 3 months. Okay. Then, as I mentioned, they pay us interest. So what is interest? It is the amount charged for borrowing money or the amount gained by lending the money. It is usually expressed in percentage. Okay? So if I'm taking 1 lakh rupees and they are asking 10,000 rupees is the interest, that means 10%. And this loan is for 1 year, that means 10% per annum is the interest rate that is being charged to me. Now, a very interesting thing which they are telling over here to us is the compounding effect. So what is the compounding effect? Let's understand that. So basically what happens is, when you keep money for, let's say, a long period of time, so let's say the 6% per annum is your interest rate. What will happen is, let's see it with the example that UPSC, that NCERT itself has given. So they are saying, let's say you have kept 1,000 rupees in the bank at 6% per annum interest rate. So this 1,000 rupees will earn you 6%. 6% of 1,000 rupees is 60 rupees. So after 1 year, you will have a total of 1,060 rupees. Now next year also you will get 6% interest rate. Now this 6% interest rate will not be charged on this 1,000. It will be earned on the entire 1,060 rupees, right? So 6% of 1,060 rupees is basically 63.60. So what will happen? 1,060 plus 63.60. So the total money that you will have will be 1,123.60 rupees. So what has happened? After 1 year, you're not getting just 6% interest only on the in original principal, but you are getting on the total amount that you have right now. This is the compounding effect, right? This is the compounding effect. You earn interest not just on the original amount, but on the amount including the interest of the previous year. This is known as compounding effect. If you keep your 1,000 rupees intact for a period of 12 years at an interest rate of 6%, what is going to happen is, if you keep it for 12 years, that 1,000 rupees is going to be converted into 2012. That means it is going to double. This is the compounding effect. I hope that is clear, right? So now let us look at the impact of, or the magic of, the compounding effect. Before we look at the NCERT example, I will ask you one simple question. Let's say I tell you that you give me 1 rupee today. On next day, on the second day, give me 2 rupees, then give me 4 rupees, then give me 8 rupees, then give me 16 rupees. Like this, you keep on doubling the number of rupees that you give me. You do this for one complete month of 31 days. So you do it for 31 days. After the end of 31 days, I will give you 10 crore rupees. After the end of 31 days, I will give you 10 crore rupees. So my question to you is, you keep on giving me money. I hope the question is clear. So 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 4, 8, 16, so on and so forth. So you keep on doubling it. You keep on doubling it for a period of 31 days. After 31 days, I will give you 10 crore rupees. Will you agree to this? Now, a lot of the aspirants may think that yes, it is good because how much will I give? Not much, but that is wrong. This, when you keep on doubling for 31 days, sorry, let me write it over here. This, when you keep on doubling for 31 days, will go in huge amount of money, in hundreds of crores it will go, right? So never basically agree for that. This is the concept of compounding effect. So initially, when the rupee was just 1, you doubled 1 rupee, but then it became 2. You are doubling 2, so it becomes 4. Then you are doubling 4, it becomes 8, 16, right? So if you do it, for 31 days, it goes into huge amount, hundreds of crores of rupees. And I'm going to give you only 10 crores, so I'm going to earn huge amount of money from that. So never agree to that. That is what the story says. The story of king and a sage. So a king from Ambalapula. Ambalapula, basically in Kerala. It is known for its love of chess, is what they are saying. Once challenged a visiting sage to a game. The king offered a reward to the sage if he defeated him. But the sage says that in reward, I simply want grains of rice. Just that there are 64 boxes in a on a chessboard. So I want what grains, but you put one grain on one chess box, right? Then on the next one you double it, on the next one you double it. So 1 2 4 8 16 32 64 128 256 512 1024, so on and so forth. That is all I want. This sage actually defeats the king, and then the king is like, fair enough, I will pay him. So the king says, okay, I will honor the promise, so let me pay him. So they start doing that, right? So what happens is, by the 8th square there are total 128 grains, then 256, then by the 10th 512, 11th 1024, by the 16th grain it is 32,768, and by the 32nd square it is 210 crore. Are you understanding? 210 crore, because that means on the 31st day it would be what, 105 crores. Remember, you would have given me 105 crores, right? And now there are 64 boxes, so it will go into lakhs of crores, right? So that is when the king realizes that it is a huge price. That is what is compounding effect. Okay, now they have given a specimen wherein they have asked us to have a look in the this is a specimen of a passbook. So this is the date, this is the particular, your transaction is done for what. So salary has come, which is credit. You receive, when you receive the money, your account has been credited. When you spend, your account has been debited, and then this is the remaining balance. So they are helping us understand the concept of debit and credit. So what is the concept of debit and credit? Debit means taking money out of an account is debit. Credit means receiving money in the account is credit. I hope that's clear. Now, the banks, next function of the bank is to offer loans or credit, right? So banks, they lend the money to the borrowers as loans for specific purposes, for specific period of time, at specific interest rate. What is a loan? An amount borrowed from the banks or financial institutions with the obligation to repay it along with interest rate. I hope that's clear. Now they have given an example over here. So let us look at the example of Anand and Shreya. How does the banking system work? So Anand is a depositor, deposits 200 rupees at an interest rate of 2%. Shreya is the borrower who borrows 200 rupees at the interest rate of 5%. So when Anand has deposited 200 rupees with an interest rate of 2%, he is going to earn 4 rupees on that. So a total of 204 rupees will be given back to Anand. Shreya borrowed 200 rupees at an interest rate of 5%. That means 10 rupees will be added, 10 rupees more she will return. So she will return a total of 210 rupees. This 210 minus 204 is equals to 6 rupees. This is nothing but the revenue of the bank. Subtracting administrative cost, all that, the profit will come from the bank from this difference which is created, right? So the bank gives lower interest rate to the bank gives, let us have a look at it here. The bank gives lower interest rate to the depositor and asks the borrower to pay a higher interest rate. This is how the bank earns profit. Okay, now the next thing that they've mentioned here is the Jan Dhan Yojana, which revolutionized the banking in India. Now India had only 15 crore bank account, right? So 15 crore Indians had the bank account. With Jan Dhan Yojana, wherein no frill accounts, means zero deposit accounts, were also allowed to be opened, the number reached beyond 50 crore, leading to financial inclusion. That is the importance of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. Now, apart from the bank, there are other institutions as well. So let us look at the other financial institutions. So for example, you have the Indian Post Offices Bank, now which provides you the National Savings Certificate, the Kisan Vikas Patra, Sukanya Samriddhi account, wherein the female child is given money for 18 years of age, provided you are not marrying her off as a child marriage, right? So those kind of schemes are there. Plus you have NABARD as well. NABARD is basically National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, which is basically a refinancing agency which does not give loan directly to the farmers, but it gives loans to the institutions which in turn give loans to the farmers, right? Now, to regulate the entire banking system, you need a regulator. So we have Reserve Bank of India, which is basically the regulator, right? Reserve Bank of India was established in 1935. It was established under the RBI Act of 1934. I hope that's clear. Okay. Now, after independence, the RBI was transferred to the government of India and has been functioning as the banker of banks, right, since 1945 49. That means it provides money even to the banks. Okay. Now, RBI sets certain rules and regulations, and remember, RBI also prints and distributes Indian currency. Very important. At the same time, it also fixes the benchmark interest rate. Benchmark interest rate is basically the interest rate which sets the interest rate in the entire market. Okay. Now, interestingly, at the Delhi branch of the RBI, you have Yaksha and Yakshi statues, the Yaksha and Yakshi statues that are present. Now, according to Hindu mythology, the Yakshas, they belong to the class of demigods. They act as the guards of the treasure for Kubera. For Kuber, basically. Kubera is written Kuber, basically. Who is Kuber? The god of wealth. So the NCERT is saying that you can compare RBI could be compared to Kuber, right? With its sole right of issuing currency by being banker to banks, because RBI is the sole entity which can issue the currency, right? Then you have the concept of benchmark interest rate. It is the base rate that the RBI fixes for lending money to the commercial banks. Commercial banks are banks that work for profit. Now, some added information has been given over here. The copper plate inscription with inscriptions during the Pandya kingdom. So the South Indian kingdoms, you have the Chola Chera Pandyas. So it is the inscription. The copper plates are from the Pandya kingdom. Okay. So in ancient time, it is being said the religious institutions also, the temples, they acted like banks, right? Now, they did not accept public deposits as such like the modern banks, but they did lend money to the artisans, merchants, local government, so on and so forth. And one such example is an inscription from Kudambalur in Tamil Nadu, which dates back to 13th century, right? So that is an example which you should remember factually. Next is the payments mode and the system, right? So what is a payment system? See, basically, payment mode and systems, another key part of the financial infrastructure, they help the transfer of payment, basically, right? Okay. So you can withdraw your money through checks, to withdrawal receipts, but UPI, Unified Payment Interface, have become more popular, right? So these are also the payment system. What is a payment system? Mechanism that facilitates the clearing and settlement of the financial transaction, the transfer of the money between two parties. All right. Now, let us first understand how the account holders can withdraw money, is what they are going to tell us first from the bank. Okay. So basically, they say generally savings can be withdrawn from the bank account through multiple methods. Of course, that is clear. One can fill the withdrawal slip, right? You can fill the withdrawal slip, submit the withdrawal slip at the cash counter, and withdraw the cash at the bank from their account. Second, bank can also provide you with debit cards. You can use the debit cards at the ATM machine and get your money. So this is the ATM machine. You have to insert the card, then the amount to be withdrawn, you need to put that, then input the pin that you might have set, and then the cash comes out and you simply collect the cash. Now, what is a pin? It is a numeric code, usually 4 to 6 digits. Why is it there? To authenticate that the user is a genuine user. Someone has not stolen the card and using their card. Instead, it is your card only, and you only are the one who knows the pin card. Okay, right? Now, how can the money be transferred from one bank account to another bank account? You can use check. Now, this is a typical check specimen, which you can see over here, right? Now, here it is the date in DDMMYYYY. That is date, the day, the month, and the year. Here will be the name of the person over here. Amount in words, amount here in, amount in words, yes. Then you have the amount in numbers mentioned over here. This is the check number, this is basically the check number, right? Then you have this as the MICR code. Okay, is that clear? And then amount of money in numbers, yes, I've told you, right? This is a typical check leaflet is what it is. Okay, so you can use this to transfer the money, to withdraw the money, to transfer the money as well. Then there are debit cards through which you can withdraw. Point of sale machine, you want to purchase something, so basically this is a point of sale machine. This is a debit card. Your debit card gets swiped, you enter the pin and the money gets deducted. Now you have the tap card also, quite dangerous as well, because someone just can tap, no need of pin. So that is a concern, but then you keep your card safe. If it is lost, you can immediately get it freezed, right? Then you have the internet banking. Internet banking, you can simply log on to the your bank's website and use internet banking to transfer the payment, or the same thing can be made available to you on the phone. So using the phone also you can log on, or there are apps as well. So you have apps like phone pay, GPay, Bheem app, etc. You can scan the QR code and then make the payment as well, right? Now let us look at how this one system of payment actually works. So this is Kumar, right? Kumar scans Piyush's QR code. Okay, so this is the first step. So he scans that, then he enters the amount and pays it. So what happens? Processing of the UPI transaction takes place at the payer's bank, that means at Kumar's bank account, right? Now the bank forwards this request to NPCI. NPCI is what? It's the National Payments Corporation of India, which is a not-for-profit organization formed by the coming together of the RBI, Reserve Bank of India, and the Indian Banks Association. That is what is NPCI. Okay. Okay. Now from the NPCI, what NPCI does is, as you can see it over here, NPCI decrypts the request. Decrypts means it is going to decode the request, verifies the user's UPI pin, and processes the transfer. After the transfer is processed, what happens? Funds are received by the pay's bank, that is Piyush's bank. So pay's bank receives it. So the pay over here, that is Piyush, receives the amount and then can verify, yes, I have received it. This is how the payment gets done. Now UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface, it is basically India's gift to the rest of the world, makes the payment absolutely simple. In fact, UPI is celebrating its 10 years because it was launched in 2016. So 10 years have been completed already. Okay. So very effortlessly the payments can be done, became more prevalent due to pandemic not touching the things, right? So just do the online payment became more prominent as well. Next is the stock market. Now stock market, see, basically in the stock market what is traded? The shares are traded. Now what are shares? Shares basically is a unit of ownership in a company. It represents a portion of the company's capital stock. A shareholder, generally the equity shareholder, is considered to be the real owner of the company. So if you have 10% of equity share of a company, you are 10% owner of the company. Okay, you get the share because you might have made investment. What is investment? The act of putting money, resources in an asset, thinking that it will gain value over time. Now this buying and selling of the share is basically done on the stock exchange. What is a stock exchange? It is basically a marketplace where the financial securities like the shares are traded. Bombay Stock Exchange is India's oldest stock exchange, established in 18. In fact, not just India's, it is one of the oldest stock exchanges in the world, of course, but it is Asia's oldest stock exchange. I hope that's clear, right? Now, so this is what is being done. Now, trading in shares can bring profit as well as loss. This you need to know, right? Now, if a company is doing well and the people think that it will earn more and more money, people would want to buy more and more of its shares, so the value of the share will go up, right? If the product is not good or worker strike is there, fewer people will want the shares of the company. Okay, is that clear? Apart from this thing, company's performance, the government's policy changes, the new laws, the tax rules, the political instability, wars, or economic shocks also can affect the company's share price and the market value. So what is economic shock? Sudden unexpected event that can cause a big change in a country's economy is nothing but an economic shock. Right. Now the shock can be anything, right? It can be a war, it can be earthquake, but that can lead to a shock in the economy, so that will be economic shock. Then tax rules, basically tax is a compulsory liability that one has to pay to the government, right? That is what tax. The rules that governs this kind of taxation, the rules that govern the taxation are known as the tax rules. I hope that's clear. Now, one thing that we should be aware of, the financial frauds and how to prevent them. A lot of financial frauds take place. You will get a call, right? People will ask you for your OTP. Never share your OTP. Why frauds are increasing? Because the digital payments have made life easier, but at the same time, what has happened? Made frauds even more prevalent, right? So what can happen? You are basically clicking some external links which can attack your system, your computer, your mobile, and freeze your account. And at the same time, it can so happen you might get a call asking for OTP. Never give your OTP, right? Because OTP is the one that helps you to make the payment, right? What is OTP? It is one time password. It's a unique temporary code made up of letters or numbers. It will be used to verify the identity and authorize the payment. So if I, let's say, scan, remember Kumar was scanning the QR code and entering the amount, and then Kumar will be required to put pin over there, which he has set. In the same manner, for certain transactions, OTP will be there. If I am doing net banking transfer, so I will select your account, add the number, click on transfer. So it will send me an OTP, one time password, on my mobile phone. So my mobile phone is with me. So using my mobile phone, I will see the OTP. I will enter the OTP over there. And once it verifies that the OTP sent on the registered mobile number is the same as what I have entered, then only the payment takes place. Now, if this OTP someone else gets, then they can get the payments done to themselves. So avoid sharing the OTP. Never share personal information like phone number, account number, home address, password, or OTPs with strangers. Okay? I hope that is clear. Then avoid clicking on unknown links or videos received through messages. Don't share sensitive banking information like account, password, debit card pins, etc. on the devices. Don't do that. In fact, on call also, it might be your relatives and friends who are asking, or through messages. Just give them a call. Ensure that they are the same people to whom you are giving, because sometimes someone can lose their mobile also, and people might simply message, okay, transfer the money or give me the OTP. So you can simply make a video call and understand whether they are the real person or not. Now though, there are scams through video call also, wherein people are dressing as civil servants, let's say, or police officers, and then demanding money, saying that if you give me money, there is a case against you which I will take back. So please do not be fooled by such scams that are happening. Keep on educating yourself, and it is also important for your examination to understand what is OTP and what are its functions. I hope that's clear. So that's about it with respect to this chapter of 7th standard NCERT part 2, chapter 8, that is banks and the magic that the finance does. So banks and the magic of finance. Thank you.